Welcome to Smash Writing. I'm Paul. This is Justin, and we're doing a disaster month here. So today's review: Day After Tomorrow. Justin's goal of no, your goal was always just to chase tornadoes. So.
Yeah. Goddamn camera. Keep talking.
Justin's goal was tornadoes. Like, wow, you want to do a storm chasing?
There are tornadoes in this movie.
That is true in L.A.
In L.A.
So, without further ado, this film once again is starring Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal, a young Jake Gyllenhaal. Go ahead.
Well, this movie kicks off with Jack Hall and crew. They're getting samples from a glacier that snaps in two, which is not great. And Jack he goes back to a committee warning about global climate change and everything. And like, this is bad. We need to act now or there's no future for the children. The vice president, in so many words, fuck those children.
Yeah.
And shoots it all down. Don't you know? Think of the economy. Come on, man. Meanwhile, Tokyo's getting pelted with a nice hailstorm. We meet the son, Jack. No, that's not his name. God damn it, I forgot.
Well,
Sam. His name is Sam.
So let's talk about that Tokyo scene. So I really thought like the guy that was on the cell phone, right,
Yeah.
was going to serve some type of role, and then he just gets cracked in the head and knocked, and I'm assuming
Punched out, yeah.
killed or knocked out by one of those hail-sized like basketball ones. But I was just like, because they gave him a scene, like he's like on the phone, he's talking to where he could have just been a random cameo, like, and then boom. No, there's like, oh no, he's on the phone. You think he has his suit? He's drinking. He had a tough day at the office. He's walking. Bam.
No more scene for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, we meet the son, Sam, and his wife. And Sam's about to leave for New York to do some kind of, like, game show, questionnaire thing. Decathlon, whatever.
Yeah.
And he nearly forgets to pick him up to take him to the airport. And learned that Sims actually flunked a class because he wasn't doing the equations. He wasn't writing down the solutions. He was just writing down the answers. And tells the dad, leave it alone, and storms out. They're clearly on a rocky path together.
Mm-hmm.
His flight gets real rocky because of turbulence, real high wind, bad storm coming in. But meanwhile, Repsom's crew is reporting ocean temperature drops are going crazy right now, everywhere. Birds are fleeing New York City, and animals are going batshit crazy.
God, those wolves were like just destroying the fence to
Yeah.
get out of. He's like, I'm out of here.
Repsom calls Jack and he's like running your model like this is not good. You need to really turn your attention to this situation. And it's not, his models are not just wrong, it's happening right now. Meanwhile, LA is being wrecked by tornadoes. A lot of them.
Like there's like 4 at like one corner or something. It was like
Jack runs his models through what's happening, and it's not a good situation. They're looking at major climate change happening in 6 to 8 weeks. The VP blows him off like, oh, fuck you, I already told you. Fuck your children. Sam is at the museum. He learns about the Ice Age. I wonder if that's foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Predicting the future there.
Yes. But meanwhile, they tried to leave town, but they end up having to flee back to the library because it's not just storming. There's a giant tsunami coming through the fucking city. And Laura, I believe her name was, gets a cut in the process. That'll be important later.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there are giant superstorms developing, 3 of them. And the helicopters that try to go in to investigate freeze when they get into the eye and crash out immediately.
Well, the main focus one because the fuel line freeze.
Yeah.
And that shows the concerning one because they talk about like fuel don't freeze until like it's negative 150.
Yeah.
So you already know these temperatures are getting out of control.
Meanwhile, Ransom, who he's talking to on the phone about this, is like, "Yeah, we're stuck. We're not leaving. Just save whoever you can, and we're done." Jack gets news of what happened in New York about the tsunami. And Sam manages to get a call to them from a payphone. And he's warned about the storms. Like, do not leave. Stay in the library. Keep warm. I'm coming to get you. But before that could happen, he has to do one more pitch to the brass. Evacuate everyone south. There's 38th on the Mason-Dixon.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's what about the north? And it's it's too late for them. I love the scene of them.
It wasn't if the VP would have just listened the first time.
I love them fleeing into Mexico.
And the Mexican government was shooting them away until they worked out an agreement with pardon Latin criminals or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Of all the things to get out of the U.S., they're gonna go with that.
But anyway, meanwhile in New York, a boat ends up getting stuck outside of the library in time for everything to start freezing over. Which is great because Laura's leg is turned bad. She got blood poisoning and they got to get on that ship to look for medicine. Jack and crew, they make it to Philadelphia before they have to go out on foot. Frank, though, meets his demise when he falls through a glass panel. They didn't realize they were walking on top of a mall.
I know.
And he sacrifices himself so the other two don't fall down with him.
Poor Frank.
The president's dead. He died in the storm. And the wife, who'd been trapped at a hospital with this cancer patient, is rescued.
Though we don't see that.
Yeah, we see the ambulance showing up and everything, the people to get him. Also, in New York, with Sam, they make it to the boat. They find the medicine. They're collecting food. But the wolves have arrived. So they now have to get around the wolves. And they have to do it right now because the eye is here. Jason and Jack hide out in the place, and they scurry back to the library and just start chucking everything they got into the fire to keep the fire going, outrunning the frost, literally.
Literally, yeah.
But from there, Jack and Jason walk past all the survivors from New York who decided they didn't want to stay in the library. They're dead, and they find everyone safe in the library with the fire going. So they manage to call out to the now president for help. He sends help and delivers a speech about we'll come together through this. It's yeah, go right now. It's no longer fuck the children. It's now fuck you. And that is day after tomorrow.
You know what? One of the things that when I watched this film, this is about the third or fourth time I actually watched this film. So they talk about the climate change. And then it just turns out to be a storm. Now I do understand they made a reference to where it's this is going to last until our pollutions get cleaned up or something like that. Our pollutions cause this to be out of hand. So my question has.
Well, I don't think there's really any changing it at that point. It's just the entire North is just frozen wasteland now. So
that's always been my question.
Well, you also can't go by the science in this movie. The science in this movie is you're not going to get storms like that.
No.
But we even we talked about, they've been tornadoes in Los Angeles now. We've had 4 tornadoes around us. Or last year in 2024.
Yeah, it gets out of low negative temperature. Florida, New Orleans, they get hit with snow.
Yeah. As of this recording, I think New Orleans has more. Well, maybe because of Lake Erie. But New Orleans and Texas have been getting blasted with snowstorms.
Yeah, so I get but what made me always puzzle with this movie was was the North always going to be a complete wasteland, or was it just going to be melting away? They portrayed it as a climate change, but then was it just a storm?
Well, I think it's a climate change because now this is just the North now, frozen wasteland.
Okay. All to Mexico, here we go.
Like they want us.
So now, one of the things that I loved the movie was the visual.
Oh, this is visually a gorgeous movie.
This was...
I love the icicles, too, forming with the wind.
Yeah. even like as you were talking about the helicopter scene, like the ice just basically, as soon as like the pilot opens up the door for that split second,
Yeah.
instant. Hell, even like the beginning of the film, like you knew it was going to be a beautiful scene, a visual scene, with them just on the glacier. And as soon as you seen that big glacier break, I was like, oh yeah,
Something bad's happening.
that ain't good.
Something bad about to happen in this movie.
You don't gotta be a meteorologist to know that ain't good.
I loved it during the tornado scene in Los Angeles. That guy just getting pelted with the billboard.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, some of those scenes, like, it's crazy how some scenes make you laugh.
Yeah.
And you're like, they were not trying to do it, but it's like, maybe somebody was like, no, let's just, we're not going to do enough to make this a comedy, but just throw in a scene that, would just ruin everybody's, like, seriousness for a quick second.
To jump, like, a serious moment is, like, when the tornado, like, passes by and you see the janitor open the door to the half the tower.
Yeah.
Like, that would be something a tornado would do, is just level half a building.
Yeah, and then leave the other half intact. And if it's a good structure, it's going to survive being torn in half.
Yeah.
So,
like, they've gotten the tornadoes, but like, how much damage do you think a giant ass tornado would do in downtown Los Angeles?
Oh my God, you're talking
like
about
the buildings are meant to move and sway due to the earthquakes. Like, that would be real bad thing for a tornado.
Yeah.
When you want firmly built in the ground to survive a tornado.
Yeah, that's then New York getting hit with 4,000 feet of snow. Oh, Dennis. So I'm always up and down with Jake Gyllenhaal's career. Like, there's some movies I really enjoy with him.
Seeing young Jake is weird.
I know.
It's weird.
Like, it catches me off guard because, like I said, I seen this movie.
Why does young Jake look like he could be brothers with young Jared Leto? Think about him from Urban Legend.
Right. That is true. And it's crazy because, like, everything that I probably sit there and say that I like Jake Gyllenhaal in, he's definitely, like, alright, so Roadhouse, that just came out, was, like, one of them. Spider-Man is another. There was a cop one that him and Mike Piana did. I literally forgot what it was called. But he even looked older than that. Yeah, a young Jake Gyllenhaal is just weird.
Yeah.
Probably why they didn't cast him a lot.
So age on that face, boy.
Grow a little. Dennis Quaid, I thought he played his role pretty well. I don't understand how you're, even as the VP, like, you have this climate meeting and you're basically telling him to fuck off.
Well, that's happening now in real life.
Well, yeah, I just don't understand the point of, like, going there and what's the point of that?
Think of the economy. That's money we'd have to spend. Get out of here. That
Like,
nonsense.
Like, you're gonna have to be spending money to dig New York out anyway, so let's do this. But I don't know. I mean, I think this movie should be remembered for the visual effects.
Yeah, the visuals were great. I love the visuals in this movie.
And remember, we're talking. This film was like 2005, 4, and so that even puts it in that, once again, that CGI heavy.
Yeah.
And this goes like with like the Bond, where 2004 to where I don't have a problem with using CGI, but you better make that count, and I believe they made it count.
Oh, a budget of $125 million too.
How much did it make though?
I don't know. Quickly here, so the battery doesn't die. What's your grade? Well,
so overall, I'm going to give this
$552 million.
You want a lot more than that, but
and you doubled it.
Yeah. So my overall grade for this one is, you know what? I'm going to give it an A for a natural disaster movie. They had the emotion, they had the right acting. I think they used their actresses in the right spots.
Yeah.
You had your typical villains. I don't think I could say anything that I really didn't like about this movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a B. Because I think like you could have given the mom a little bit more to do. It felt like you were only doing this mom thing just to put.
And to be honest, I thought they were divorced for like the longest part.
So
of
did I for a while. But like I was sure would have done more with her and the cancer patient.
Yeah.
But it was still nice to have something there, I guess. And I could watch this movie again.
Yeah. I love that, like, the president looked like you were thinking the president was going to, like, because he seemed like generally the good one. And then you get told, yeah, he was the last one to come out and they just didn't make it through. Of course, like, the realistic possibility of anybody getting through, the fact that they went from, where did they start? Virginia to New York, and Washington to New York City was, like, impressive enough right there. Yeah, I have no problem with this natural disaster film. So he's giving it a B, right?
Yep.
I gave it A. That's our grade on Day After Tomorrow. Until next time.
Bye-bye.